Are you ready, Eddie? I'm sorry. Good evening and welcome everybody to the Palm Springs Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. I will now call the meeting to order and we will begin with a roll call, please.
Board Member Jarrell? Here. Board Member Irvin? Here. Board Member Cornett? Here. Board Clerk Espericueta?
Here.
And Board President Girardi?
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and when we're done, would you please remain standing for a moment of silence? And the Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by our student board member, Mariah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So if you please remain standing. We've recently been made aware that Elsie Jamin, a former staff member, passed away in September. Elsie worked for the Palm Springs Unified School District as a first grade teacher at Vista Del Monte Elementary School from September 10th, 1967 to June 30th, 1983. Would you please be seated? And next, we're going to have our mission statement read by student board member Angeli Maranhez. Do you not have it? Here it comes.
All members of Palm Springs High School Unified School District are united to our commitment to equity. We create deep and meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capabilities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Thank you very much, Angeli. Item 7 is a report of closed session actions. Clerk Espericueta, are there any closed session actions to report this evening?
Yes, President Girardi, we have one report from closed session. In closed session, the board took action to release the following administrative employees from their administrative position and reassign them to classroom teaching position pursuant to Education Code Section 44951, effective at the end in the 2022 and 2023 school year, and directed the superintendent or designated to send out appropriate legal notice. And for the employees number 24A, 22A, the vote was 4 ayes and 1 abstention. The abstention was by board member Cornett. For the employees number 280911, the vote was 5-0.
Thank you very much. Item 8 is approval of the agenda. May we get a motion to approve the agenda as presented this evening?
Move for approval.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Item 9 is our student board member report. The student board member reports will be presented by Mount San Jacinto High School student board member Mariah Young and Palm Springs High School student board member Angeli Manjarez. First up will be Mariah from Mount San Jacinto High School.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mariah Young. I'm the student board representative for Mount San Jacinto Alternative High Schools, located in Cathedral City, as well as our Desert Hot Springs campus of Edward Winslow. So for today's agenda report, we are going to be going over the months of November into early January. So starting off with academic achievement, MSJ provides the ability to graduate early when essential credits are met. Our early class of 2023 graduated in November and were able to we're given an opportunity to visit COD, which is an excellent choice of continued education for students of the Valley. Student of the Month. Over 20 students were selected to receive a designated Student of the Month award for their hard work and dedication for the second quarter. Blood drive. With help from the live stream blood bank of Coachella Valley, MSJ students learned the selfless importance of donating blood. Our car wash. November 16th, students and staff organized an ASB-led fundraiser from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., where 50% of all the proceeds were generously given to Mount San Jacinto. Next. Christmas Spirit Week. The week of December 12th through 16th, MSJ began our Christmas Spirit Week. Students and staff showed school spirit by dressing in holiday outfits, participating in festive activities, and decorating for the holidays. Spirit days included Grinch Day, Toasty Tuesday, Flannel Day, Ho Ho Homies matching outfits, and tacky Christmas gear. A few more pictures. Student literature. On campus of Edward Winslow, students presented their own journal entries, including poetry, short stories, and essays. These writings covered an array of topics from personal life to culture. Led by Dr. Jacqueline Mantz, the student readings were debuted on Telemundo and NBC. MLK Art Walk. Students from MSJ and around the Coachella Valley created art for MLK Day, hosted by Scrap Gallery of Coachella Valley. This MLK Walk helped teach love and acceptance through art. Our Mount San Jacinto capacity is currently at full on both of our campuses. Some of the most students we've ever seen at once and for many, many years. On our CC campus, it is around 270 students, and on our DHS campus of Edward Winslow, there's about 120, while 35 students are currently enrolled in independent study. On behalf of myself and the MSJ staff, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mariah.
Thank you.
All right, now from Palm Springs High School, Angeli.
Hello and good afternoon. This is the board report for January 24th, 2023 for Palm Springs High School. Just want to welcome the new year and happy new semester for everybody. And a little intro, my name is Angeli Manjares. I'm the Palm Springs High School student board member. I'm also the Palm Springs High School ASB president, and I'm a senior choir student. Coming up on Friday, February 3rd at 6 p.m. in the Richer Center, we have our PS Factor, which is a talent show for the entire school and is equitable for all. All students are welcome to come and participate. And this program is led by our Palm Springs Sings and Strings and also our Palm Springs Theater Department. Our FBLA Academy also competes in Rancho Cucamonga on Saturday, February 11th. We have 22 students competing in 43 different events, and this event will determine who takes place in the state competition in April, which takes place in Sacramento. These students have also been competing and making different businesses and small organizations for themselves, which I personally think is really cool. Our Palm Academy also helped host a blood drive at Palm Springs High School. This took place on Wednesday, and it helped our Palm Academy students gain career experience and help donate back to the community. Each person that donated blood saved 3 lives, so I thought it was pretty successful. We also had our Winter Formal Spirit Week last week. For Monday, we didn't have any school. For Tuesday, we participated in PJ Day. On Wednesday, we had T-Birds versus Pink Ladies, which was Grease themed. On Thursday, we were Man of the West, which is dressed in cowboy or Western attire. And Friday, each grade was assigned their class colors. Our Red Carpet Romance Spirit Week was a success and engaging in students in most school spirits. Also, earlier today, we had our Club Rush, where students were able to go and see different organizations and see different interests they might be interested in taking. It was held today in a quad, and students were all open to see different passions such as choir, theater, ASB, our Latin department, and all sorts of stuff. And then thank you guys for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you, Angeli. Item 10 is a special recognition. So this evening, the governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following employees of the month for January 2023. We'll have a couple of short videos produced by our student media interns, and then we'll have a formal recognition following.
My name is Mandy Gonzalez. I'm the principal at Della Lindley Elementary School. We nominated Dottie Caban as our site classified employee for the month of January. If you've ever been to Della Lindley, worked here, or you know Dottie, Dottie really is the heart of our school. She's amazing. She greets the kids every morning, and everybody here absolutely loves her. She's been here for over 30 years. And you really couldn't ask for a better person to be with kids and to work at a school. And we're so, so grateful to have her here every single day. She knows the names of all of our students, their sisters, their brothers, their cousins, their moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas. And it's really such a special thing to be able to have that here at our school. And we feel so fortunate to work with her every single day. Hi, I'm Mandy Gonzalez, the principal at Della Lindley Elementary School, and I nominated Maria Garibay for our Certificated Employee of the Month for the month of January. Mrs. Garibay is a wonderful addition to our Della Lindley team. She is happy every single day, gives her very best with her students and all of our other staff on campus. She works very hard to keep her classroom engaging, lively, excited, and a place where students want to come and learn every day. I'm so grateful to have her as one of our staff members and second grade teachers here on campus. We really value the work and everything she brings to our school on a daily basis.
Okay. Now, board members Jarrell and Esperacueta would like to present the plaques to our recipients tonight.
Good evening. May I please have Dottie Caban come up? Okay, Dottie, let's give her a hand. She's here. Congratulations. I love your outfit in there. Thank you. Caban? Is that
Caban,
Good deal. Come on over here. We have some good things to say. Here, that's for you. Okay. She's shining tonight. Dottie has worked with Della Lindley for the last 31 years. Dottie cares deeply about the students at Della Lindley and knows every single student on campus. Probably mine too, right? Donnie. Yeah. If anyone needs anything, Dottie is always willing to step in and help. Dottie greets every student each morning and helps them get out of their cars, put on their backpacks, and checks in with them to see if they seem down. She is an inspiring individual who is dedicated to her profession, our students, and our families. Dottie, on behalf of the students and staff of Della Lindley Elementary School, members of the governing board and administration, it is a pleasure to present you with this plaque of recognition as Classified Employee of the Month for January 2020.
Thank you so much. Mine.
Is there anyone you want to thank?
Yes, I want to thank Mandy and the staff at Della Lindley. It's my second family. It always has been for all these years, and I just love everybody. And I take care of everybody. But it's a pleasure working at Della Lindley. It's one of the greatest elementary schools in the district.
Anyone in the audience you want to recognize?
All my staff members, Mandy, Maria, Robin, Maggie, of course, Ricardo, Norma, the Escobedo family, Jim Pfeffer. See him sneaking over there. But I'm really thankful for this, and I was surprised, real surprised, like somebody else surprised me.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good job. Thank you. You deserve it. You deserve it. Well done.
May I have Maria Garibay? Congratulations, Maria. Mrs. Garibay is a team player. She is highly motivated and works hard every single day. She is professional and always works with high ethical conduct. Mrs. Garibay shows integrity in all that she does. She had worked this year along with a few other colleagues to create a ballet folklorico group at Della Lindley, which had over 70 students that participate. Her contribution to the culture here at DSL are positive and very much appreciated. She is a joy to work with, and we are very fortunate to have her at our school. Mrs. Garibay, on behalf of the students and staff at Della Lindley Elementary School, members of the governing board and administration, it is a pleasure to present you with this plate of recognition as certificate employees at the month for January 2023. Congratulations again. Is there anyone that you want, to recognize and something to say?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I was extremely surprised as well. I was not expecting this, so I humbly accepted. And just want to say thank you to my principal, Mandy. I started with Dr. Kovacs here, so it's just like it's been a pleasure being at Della Lindley, and just humbly accepted. Thank you so much for everything. And I couldn't do this without all the help that I received from all my coworkers, the principal. It just goes beyond what we do there, and just couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think they wanted yours too. Let me give you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is a presentation on student and safety update. Dr. Sweezy, I believe you're going to introduce this presentation.
Yes, thank you, President Girardi. There are several things that the board asks me to update them on regularly, and this is one of them, and it is about student and staff safety in our schools. I know this is a topic all of our board members and everyone in the public care very, very much about. So this evening, we have for you a brief presentation from our Executive Director of Security and Disaster Preparedness, Mr. Levon Smart, and then he will be followed by our Executive Director of Student Support Services, Ms. Laura Musel. And so they will give a brief presentation about student and staff safety.
Good evening, Board, Executive Cabinet. I want to start tonight's conversation with a quote from author and investigative journalist John Sweeney. John Sweeney says, "Safety is a basic human need. People with a sense of security and belonging are stabilized for learning, creating, and innovating. A group of wonderfully cared for, confident individuals will generate great ideas." Through our conversation, we hope to explain how both departments have been working within our respective areas to create a safe environment where we can generate those great ideas. And as you will see as we go through it, you'll always also see that it meets the requirements of LCAP Goal 3, which is PSUSD will provide healthy, physically and emotionally safe learning environments that foster and support all students. So we'll jump right in with security and disaster preparedness. We focus strengthening these areas here: emergency response, disaster response, surveillance systems, and the school resource officer and campus safety officer program. These are what is known as a physical protection system. In layman's terms, that means that procedures, people, and equipment form a system to then keep all of the assets of any organization safe. And we're an organization like many around the world. Therefore, our assets are people, property, information, brand, and reputation. So with that, we'll jump right into emergency response. Our emergency response framework is ALICE, and ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. What this is, most people know it as a response option for a violent critical incident, or that naughty word, active shooter, but it also brings other things to the table for us. Some of those pieces of ALICE, like Alert, Inform, and Evacuate, they can be used and are transferable in other response options. ALICE is a holistic view at emergency response. It allows for us to increase situational awareness, enhance communication, and also streamline the decision-making process. Now, if the organization faces a disaster, we would lean on our disaster response. We could still use practical pieces from ALICE, again, Alert, Inform, and Evacuate to help within that disaster, but we would lean on our disaster response, which is done by staff members who have volunteered and were part of training and disaster response training for schools. This training gave them the ability to learn light search and rescue, triage, disaster first aid, fire utility control, and things of that nature. Giving them these tools allows us to provide some sort of life-saving action until help arrives. I'd like to take this minute to thank the board for approving the funds for the new security system, surveillance system that we'll be doing district-wide. Working with Will Carr and his team, we were able to meet and collaborate with vendors to design and build a camera system that fits the needs of our organization. With the new analytics in the cameras that are out today, we now have a force multiplier, and if need be, we can see things in real time, and we can also feed this information to our local law enforcement partners if need be. And finally, we talk about our school resource officer and campus safety officer program. We have been fortunate in the last 2 summers that we have been able to bring in the National Association of School Resource Officers to train our SROs and our campus safety officers in the best school-based policing best practices that are out today. During this time, our officers, both school resource officers and campus safety officers, have learned understanding the teen brain, developing relationships with diverse students, understanding students with special needs, and trauma-informed care. The SRO participated in the base SRO course, and the campus safety officers attended the school safety officers course. Aligning them or giving them these tools has now given us the ability to give them additional tools in their belt so they can now increase and improve services to our students and staff and be value added to the educational process. With that, I will turn it over to Ms. Musil.
Hello, board and superintendent. Thanks for having us here tonight. I'm going to be sharing about student support services. There's many departments that fall under student services: mental health, health services, special education, and then the student services department. And I just want to highlight some of our employees that work in those departments and share a little bit with you about what they do to protect students and making sure that student wellness, social emotional status are all taken care of. And so we're focused on safety using MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of support. And the side that student services supports is to the right-hand side there, the behavior systems, PBIS, and social emotional learning, where Mark Arnold and his learning side are on the academic side of the pyramid. But basically, we look at student attendance, student behavior, and social emotional learning across these three tiers. And so staffs that work with students on the universal tier 1, they're working with a school-wide. So they're doing school-wide positive behavior systems with PBIS. They're doing lessons in classrooms or assemblies around social emotional learning, how to be safe on the internet, social media access. So tier 1 is for every student, and it's across every school site in our district. At tier 2, this is when we're bringing in the specialists that I've listed up there for you. Tier 2 is supporting a group of students in small group instruction, small group counseling. It's going to be a smaller percentage of our students. Around 15% of our students need that tier 2 service, and this is provided at the school sites. Principals all have a great support team, a student support team of their own that's comprised of social workers, counselors, lead teachers, department chairs, prevention specialists, and behavior teams. And they're there to support students in a small group atmosphere. And then at the very top there, that's our tier 3. That's about 5% of our students. And what we do there is we have district assigned staff that work one-on-one with students. And so you can see some numbers. We have 63 counselors, both academic and SEL counselors. Every single school site has at least one counselor, up to multiple counselors at our school sites. They're supporting that tier 1 and tier 2. We have 5 social workers, and today we interviewed 2 more. So we're looking to be fully staffed with our social workers. We'll be left with 1 position to fill. So that's very exciting. That's been 2 years of recruiting social workers. We actually have 3 interns this year, and we've made a partnership with local colleges to build that intern program. So hopefully we can retain and recruit more social workers. Social workers, I'm going to go into a little more detail in a minute about them. Our mental health staff has grown quite a bit. We've gone from 9 mental health therapists. We're going to be staffing up to 20, and recently we just hired 2 new mental health therapists to come on board. We have 12 prevention specialists. We've expanded those positions as well. So we just hired 2 new prevention specialists. And then we have a behavior team that supports the needs of students at tier 2 and tier 3 on the general ed side and on the special ed side. So that's about 23 people who specifically focus on students who need additional behavior support. And then Student Services has 7 community liaisons that specifically work around attendance, crisis response, supports for families. Our prevention specialist team is unique to Palm Springs, and I'm super excited about this group of employees. We have 1 at every high school, including MSJ, 1 at every middle school. We have now just hired a roving prevention specialist for our elementary schools. Our alternative programs also have a prevention specialist, and we have a re-entry prevention specialist who works with students coming out of expulsion or out of incarceration back into the school sites. Prevention specialists work on anger management lessons with any student who's involved in a physical altercation on campus. They also do drug and alcohol training for students who have a drug or alcohol infraction. They'll coach up to 30 foster homeless youth students on life skills, executive functioning skills, mindset, and grit. So this prevention specialist team is amazing. I know there's some principals in the room who have them, and they're highly valued. And they work with about 30 to about 40 students on each of our school sites. And the social worker team that is expanding. Currently, we have social workers hired and supporting our elementary schools in Desert Hot Springs, Della Lindley, Painted Hills Middle School, Desert Springs Middle School. We have a social worker that is strictly for the district for crisis response. And then we have a social worker who works with our behavior team and on SARB. And we also have a special education social worker. We'll be bringing on 2 new ones to help support some of our elementary schools on this side of the freeway, and we'll be placing a full-time social worker at Painted Hills Middle School. So our social workers do one-on-one counseling, individual sessions around drug and alcohol awareness, mindfulness, social media security, and then they also do small group sessions, and then they are part of the team that's deployed in the event of a crisis. A family has a crisis, we do wraparound services with our social workers. And our mental health team has expanded to keep up with the demand. So currently, we have served over 600 students through our Medi-Cal program that we run here in the district office. That number has multiplied significantly since COVID. We also partner with Care Solace and Daybreak Health, who each are serving 210 students and 326 students through Care Solace. And we are a recipient of the school-based wellness program, the SB HIP program. We just received quite a substantial grant to implement behavioral health in our wellness centers and health services in all of our school sites. So you'll hear more information about that as we roll that out for next school year. We're really excited to have added 2 youth peer mental health specialists. They're graduates of Palm Springs School District who used mental health services when they were here, and now they go back out into the community and talk to students about how to be mentally healthy. And finally, these are some of the most recent staff trainings we've held. Every Saturday, you'll find a group of 30 to 40 staff members getting trained on mental health first aid. These are non-counselors, non-social workers, regular employees who want to know a little bit more about how they could help students in being healthy with their mental health wellness. We've also trained our staffs on PBIS Tier 1 and Tier 2 middle schools. 2 of our middle schools signed up for that, and we sent 8 of our schools to Tier 2 check-in, check-out. That's a method we use when a student comes back from a suspension to make sure they're re-entering the school and have some supports in place. We are doing staff trainings on other means of correction. So what can we do instead of suspensions? All of our schools have been through that training. We recently did 2 trainings on restorative and trauma-informed practices, and we have 3 schools who have asked for RCOE to come out to train their entire staff on that. And we are doing continuous legislative updates because education code frequently changes with what we're required to inform students and families on, and what we can and cannot suspend or expel for, and how we can try other programs such as trauma-informed programs and restorative practices. And then all of our secondary sites recently had bullying and suicide prevention trainings with their counselors. And so we offer ongoing trainings through our staff and through RCOE for the areas under student services. And finally, safety and security don't just happen. They are a result of a collected consensus and public investment, as you can see through all the staff members that it takes to support our students. And this quote was by Nelson Mandela. Thank you.
Well, thank you both. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Charlie?
Yes, I have a couple questions. One of the questions on that presentation you had there, is there a reason why certain schools only have the social worker?
Yes. So because we're limited in the amount of employees and the amount of social workers we have, we deployed them to the highest need schools. So we do surveying of principals. We also have a referral form that principals or staff members can fill out to request student support services. So going off of that information, enrollment information, discipline information, we focused most of our social workers to start over in Desert Hot Springs, but we have two rovers currently, and we just added a 3rd rover so that they can support anywhere there's a need.
So it sounds like it's for some of our schools that need that support heavily more than the other
Yes.
schools. Okay, do we have a goal of eventually getting to some of the other schools?
I'd love to have one at every school.
Okay.
And that's why we're working on building out the intern program so that we can have our interns pushing out and helping at all schools.
Okay, and then with the list that you had up there, with the different type of services that we offer here at the school, do you have any idea where we rank at in our county as a district for the amount of support that we have for our students? The best.
I don't know if they rank us by amount of services, but I'll tell you that with our recent grant funding that we got, we were only one of 2 schools in Riverside County school districts, Hemet and Palm Springs, qualified to implement the wellness program. So that to me shows that the county, and as actually a state grant, believed in the work that we're doing to expand our wellness centers with the work that the foundation has been doing, and this will complement that. And we are one of the only school districts that has prevention specialists. So that's something to be proud of.
Okay, great job. And the last question is for Mr. Smart. And I'm just curious, is there a plan that we have put in place for the surveillance? Is it something that's already in place? Is there something that we're looking to have sometime in the near future?
So it has already been, we're in the stages of procurement. So we've already went out for bid. We've got those things coming. We do have schools that we have listed by priority that we will be going first, second, third, because it's going to be a district-wide revamp for the whole district. So 29 facilities. So you can imagine it's going to take a while. But we do have a list of schools that will be prioritized. One of which is Desert Springs Middle. And I was just talking with Will Carr from ETIS about it yesterday, and then we will go from there. But there is a plan to bring it in, but it's going to take us a while.
Okay, so no rollout date quite yet?
No, and I caution everybody, I do want to say, because I've done this before in a separate district, it just takes time because we have to get literally through the workday while school's going on, try to find ways to do it, because it's going to be really intrusive on how we have to move different things.
Okay, thank you.
Madonna?
Yes, Mr. Smart.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Going back to slide 5, the ALICE training, how important that is, alert, lockdown, inform, counter, evacuate. How often do our schools practice that drill, and do you call it a lockdown?
So, no, we do not call it a lockdown. And I'll give you a real quick down and dirty. So there's 2 things, lockdown and a lockout. Since I've been here in my 3 years, coming up on 3 years, we've had all lockouts. But because of the terminology or the lack of understanding, that's why we're bringing Alice, so we can bring everybody up to the same standard, to the same level. Lockout is anything that occurs outside the campus and there's nothing that's totally really affecting the campus itself. A lockdown is when you have an active loss of life on that campus. So they're 2 different things. To go back to your initial question, your first question, this year we wanted to get everybody Alice trained. We wanted to have everybody on the same footing, the same foundation. So once we get everybody trained, after that, we'll start the e-learning and the drill portion of that. To date, we've got, I believe we just finished 2,000 of the 2,800 employees. So we still have 800 more to go.
Just wondering, in light of a situation that just recently happened with a first grader on the East Coast and harming a teacher, I was wondering, they're talking at that district about using metal detectors and putting in all types of pieces into that district. Do we want kids, or I know we probably do backpack checks, and could you tell me a little bit more how we help to find out more about kids if they are a threat? Or
I will be honest and tell you that answer that you're looking for is not really for public consumption.
Okay, thanks. That's okay.
Yeah, we'd be happy to share that in a confidential communication.
Okay, anybody else? Karen? Mariah, Angelique, you guys have any questions or comments? No? All right, I don't either, so thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 12 are public comments. So, Clerk Espericueta, do we have any email comments tonight?
President Girardi, we have not received any electronic comments.
Thank you. In-person comments, I do have 2 speaker cards. All comments are be directed to the board. Please be under 3 minutes and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. And please understand, since it's not an agenda item, board members will not respond during public comments. So first up, I have Jeff Kopaz, I believe.
Hello, I'm the first one up. Cool. I'm not here to talk about theater curtains or stage lights. I'm here because I felt very moved over the past couple of weeks by a couple of training sessions I was able to attend, one at my site and then another follow-up here at our district office for our monthly equity leads meeting with Dr. Nicole Crawford and her team. A couple other folks in this room were also there as well as some of our upper level administrators, meeting everybody and being part of it as well. I am one of the new site-based equity lead point of contacts this year over at my home site, which is Kauai Elementary. And our recent training that we just had with Dr. Vincent Pompey about how to effectively support and understand and engage students who may identify as LGBTQ+, fellow employees, understanding the ed code, expectations, was just one of the most moving Wednesday mandatory PDs I've attended in a while. And I just wanted to say thank you as a board for approving and supporting Dr. Crawford, her team, approving the agenda item probably some months ago to contract with Dr. Pompey to come not just for an administrative training with principals that we hope will trickle down, but to hire him for the time to visit every school site. And I personally have been asking some other teacher friends, hey, has he been to your site yet? Have you had this training? Gird your loins, it'll be really good. It's really impactful. I really appreciated how he framed a lot of issues, which some of us adults in the room may feel very uncomfortable discussing or addressing, or even just asking questions, very honest, genuine questions that we may just have fragmented knowledge or maybe out of date knowledge, and nobody wants to appear ignorant or speak out of turn. So I really appreciated the way that Dr. Pompey in his training with us framed a lot of issues in a very matter-of-fact, very human way. He also very heavily cited ed code and state law and framed some things as simply, if you're a teacher, this is your obligation to your students and your school as a whole, but also even, you know, as a staff member who identifies as gay, there were some things that were very meaningful to me too, particularly when he just very bluntly said, you know what, the words lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer are not dirty words. They're not bad words. Those words describe people. They describe some of our students' families. They describe some of our students. They describe some of the wonderful grown-ups that we work with. And those aren't dirty words. They're acknowledging people for who they are. And I appreciate that we as a district are actively putting our money where our mouth is to give our staff the tools to succeed and really respond in a reasonable way.
It's going to remind you that you have like
Thank you.
10 seconds. You want to.
Joy Cox, please.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to the members of the board, and I thank you, brothers and sisters, for allowing me to speak today. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Joy Cox, and I pride myself in saying that I am a soldier on the battlefield of education. I am proud to say that for over 26 years, I have worked hard to empower my students, to teach them their self-worth, and to validate their culture. We were talking about social-emotional learning, Well, what's more important than knowing who you are culturally? Okay? Perhaps that's if we start that at an earlier age, ladies and gentlemen, that will reduce the amount of self-hatred that so many of our students experience. It will reduce some of the racial conflict that is going on in many of our high schools. So it's important to validate one's culture. It was Frederick Douglass who said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." In building strong children, that refers to educating the whole child, arming them with cultural dignity and pride. Now, within the Palm Springs Unified School District, I'm quite proud to say that we have taken steps, but much, much more needs to be done. The diversity conference was wonderful. We all learned a lot. The unconscious bias training is so necessary, and I thank you guys for making it mandatory next year. Hiring an equity leader is a bold move, and I pray that you will do what's right and empower Nicole Crawford with the staff that she needs, with the help that she needs to fight the good fight. But now, ladies and gentlemen, more than ever, we need a consistent practices across the board that will help and mold and shape all of our students culturally. Far too often, I have observed that what's going on in one school is not going on the other. Let's take, for example, Black History Month. I want you all to just observe how many schools where there's the teacher that is willing to take the lead to do something for Black History Month, it'll get done. Other schools where the teachers don't feel like taking the lead, or maybe they're overworked, nothing will be done for Black History Month. So what I am saying, there is a lack of consistency, continuity within the school district. Therefore, I am urging you to consider ways of incorporating cultural lessons that fall within the guidelines of California standards that relate to ethnic studies with our younger students. Let's not wait till high school. Let's start when they're in TK and kindergarten. I know it can be done. Si se puede. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it on my speaker cards. That brings us to item 13, board member comments. Who'd like to lead us off tonight? Board member Jarrell?
Okay, thank you. Okay, I am going to take you back a little bit towards the beginning of the month on the first week of January, and we in the district were called Supporting Foundation Contributors in the Palm Springs Film Festival, International Film Festival. And up on the screen was our logo and our district's name, and was so proud to be there as part of the activities. However, I just have to say that, up come some comments while I'm walking through the campus at Palm Springs High School, and they were really great comments. It was just impromptu. The friends I was walking with said, "What a beautiful campus. What a wonderful place for students to learn. What a great theater." So I just have to give kudos to facilities, to Palm Springs High School, the theater, the people that are behind the scenes that help to make us shine. And I didn't ask, what do you think of the campus? I was walking with them back to the parking lot. So this goes out to everyone that participated with the festival and continue to help support community projects like that. It was amazing to hear those compliments, and please pass those on to your staffs. So that was incredible. We were honoring a very important STEAM teacher, Bridget Foster. In TV, a little boy named Josh Stewart got up, talked about how important coding was. She was a recipient of a grant from Walter Clark. We congratulate her. I was just this past weekend walking across the ice at the Firebirds game with 112 other employees, friends, administrators, and we, as a district, showed up at the game together. We had a great time, and I appreciate all the help that Ellen and the foundation put out to provide this event, and Joan as well, Joan Boyko. It was an amazing event. I was also invited this week ago to speak to the Rotary at 7:30 in the morning in Rancho Mirage. And what a treat it was to meet them and Dr. Singh and the Rotarians and present to them at their breakfast all about the state of the district. And it was an amazing morning, and I appreciate the Rotarians. They donated a book to Cathedral City Elementary. We made sure the book was passed on to the school, and we appreciate all of the Rotarians that help to support our schools. I think that we as a district have come a long ways, and working with our community organizations, I'm proud to see that we are taking our students to games, where staffs are going, where people are now, we're branching out with new organizations, and we're opening up to different types of events that are happening in the desert. So kudos to everyone who has been working even before the winter breaks was finished. All of the people that worked during to help our kids be safe and learn that week. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Charlie?
Yes, I would like to speak about, I also attended the Palm Springs Film Festival on the initial night. Watched a pretty good movie, 80 for Brady, which was pretty entertaining for mature ladies that decided to go to the Super Bowl. And it was a really great movie, and I enjoyed watching it. Also on June 18th, I attended Desert Hot Springs High School for the science fair. One of the exhibits was from a student from Cielo Vista, and it was about caffeine. And what I thought was really interesting is he specifically did that project because his mother was addicted to coffee. And so he was like, my mom is the reason for this. So he found out in his review that the caffeine does increase the heart rate and does give heart attacks. So that was pretty interesting that I seen there. And great student. He talked to me a little bit about it, so that was exciting. As well, I went on January the 20th, I went to the spelling bee, which also was excited to see the kids. That was my first time attending a spelling bee, and I just look forward to going to it in the future. And also just wanted to let you guys know that there are a couple of events that will be happening in February, one being the Black History Gala in the city of Palm Springs, and that will be on February 4th. Like the lady that spoke before, Black history is very important, and for any of you teachers or anyone out there, it's very important that not only our students learn about themselves that are African American, but as well the other students that are in the classroom, because we have to reach across and communicate with each other. It's very important. So if you are an administrator or a teacher, that is a very important month for African American students. And I just really hope you guys take that seriously. And then we're here to support you any way we possibly can to make sure that that's something that's being addressed.
Thank you, Charlie. Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you to our board members, our school board members, for your great presentations tonight. Thank you so much. And also to our people who came and spoke to the board tonight. We always appreciate having people come and talk to the board and let us know your thoughts and how we can improve and make things better for everyone. Thank you, Madonna and Charlie, for giving really detailed updates tonight. And I'd also like to say Happy New Year to everybody and healthy, happy 2023.
Thank you, President Girardi. This is the first meeting of the year, and it's a little bit late, but I hope everyone had a happy holidays. And I was in attending of the 34th Annual Palm Springs International Film Festival. Thank you, the school district. Thank you, Joan, for the tickets to the film festival. And I had the opportunity to watch 3 films, The 80 for Brady, The Last King, and The Substitute. The festival had its special touch because by the end of the film, it presents the director of the film and the main actors in person, and they explains a lot of details. And in January 12, also I assisted to the ELL program, the Future Look Brick event in the District Service Center. And this event was focused on the transition from middle school to high school with clear information for parents and young students. Also, a presentation by 2 students from the Cathedral City High School Data Academy, Cynthia and Marisol, good presentation, explaining the academy registration process and all the opportunities and benefits being part of the academy. In January 18, also I'm attending the District Science Fair Viewing and Award in Desert Hot Springs High School with board member Erwin and President Girardi. In this event, a student from the all school district presented their project. All projects with them that have great interest because they had good quality educational material. From there, the first place would be chosen from all those students to compete at the county level. I want to congratulate the whole participants. In January 19, I attended the Early Childhood Education Super Dad workshop, also in the administration office. When I decided to go to this event, I don't fully understand the dynamic, but in this occasion, this was only dad with their daughter and sons, and was a good interaction between their children and other parents. And they share good personal history and how to spend quality time with their children. And in January 20, I also was invited to participate in the Spelling Bee school district level. At this event, it was an honor for me to participate as one of the 3 judges in a school and the district level competition, where the winner went to compete in the county level. The 2 finalists were from Nelly Cosman Middle School. Congratulations to the whole participant, and Sandra Villa get the first place, and Q Maya Martinez get the second place. And today, this morning, I assist to the presentation of the author Scott Reinhen, that he made 8 visits to the Jed Warman Middle School with a student and told about his work. And I believe this type of presentation are very important for the academic success of young students. And I was very impressed with the way that the author, Mr. Scott, shared his experiences with a student. Also, he explained that he came from Beijing as a teacher. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sergio. Just real brief, Happy New Year, everybody. It's good to be back. As Sergio mentioned, I was at the science fair. I'm always amazed at the sophistication of the presentations that they put on. They're just wonderful. Thank you to our speakers today, our public speakers. It's always nice to hear from voices throughout the district, and I really appreciate your comments. I also want to thank Ellen Goodman and our foundation board members. They do an incredibly good job. They've exceeded their goal already for this year. And I keep telling her she's just setting the bar higher and higher, and we're going to expect more and more out of them. And also to everybody in Palm Springs Unified, welcome back. I know it's been a tough year. We all know it's been a very, very tough year. So take care of yourselves, stay in good health, and this too shall pass. We'll get through it, and we'll be on a better road in the near future here. With that, I'll turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you. Thank you, President Girardi and board members, for your great comments about all the amazing things happening in the district. I will try also to be very brief this evening in my comments. As you know, I missed our last board meeting in December, and so I want to publicly thank Executive Cabinet for stepping right in and filling my shoes. They did an amazing job, and I really appreciate that. I wasn't then able to say to the board, and welcome to Charlie officially at your first meeting. I'm very sad that I missed it. In fact, I texted President Girardi so much about how devastated I was, he finally said, "You can stop. Like, we know you're sick. It's not your fault. You can't be there. It's okay." Because I just missed so many things that last week before winter break. One thing I didn't get to comment on was the California School Boards Association conference, and I know our board members all talked about that. But at that conference, it gives us a chance, the board a chance to meet other board members, talk to people in their same position all across the state. But it also gives us a chance to get to know each other on a different level. And I really enjoyed and appreciated that time with all of you, as I know you did, meeting Charlie and welcoming him to the school board. We also had our student board members with us, and so that gave me a chance to get to know Anjali a little bit better and her incredible personality, and that I know her mom and grandmother for a very long time in this district, as well as Mariah. And so I got to learn some things about Mariah as well. She's a very talented artist, and I know her grandmother as well too, so we've worked together. Mariah wouldn't tell you this herself, so I'm going to take about 2 minutes of my time to share with you a Martin Luther King art competition video. She presented a picture of it in her update from MSJ, but we were sent this by the Scrap Gallery. Students from all across the country submitted work, and the very first piece that's shown in this short video is by Mariah, and it's very beautiful. So congratulations. And if Erica will play that, it'll just take a minute or two, and then we'll go right back to the agenda. So you could also see some students from Sunny Sands and Nellie Kaufman participated. But congratulations, Mariah. Thanks for letting me share that. I know she didn't know I was going to do that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, President Girardi.
Thank you very much. Very nice, Mariah. Beautiful, beautiful work. All right, board action items. 15A, approval of certificated and classified employee transactions. Dr. Signore?
I'd like to ask Sarah Phelps to come on up. We are very pleased to recommend Mrs. Sarah Phelps as the Director of Nutrition Services. Mrs. Phelps has been successfully serving as the Interim Director of Nutrition Services since October of 2021. Since her interim appointment, Dr. Brian Murray has been extremely pleased with her skills and leadership. As background, Mrs. Phelps received her Bachelor of Science degree from Columbia Southern University. With over 20 years of experience in nutrition, which interestingly began in 1998 with an internship with our district, Mrs. Phelps joined Palm Springs Unified in 2019 as a field supervisor in our Nutrition Services Department. She was promoted to Manager, Nutrition Services 1 year later. In her interim position as Director, Mrs. Phelps has developed and enhanced the nutritional services programs for our students, strengthened the relationships between her department and our school sites, and develop a culture that is positive and student-focused. According to Dr. Brian Murray, Mrs. Phelps stepped up to the director role confidently. She led by treating all educational partners with courtesy, dignity, and respect. Congratulations, Mrs. Phelps. Anything you'd like to share with the board and superintendent, and anybody you'd like to recognize tonight?
First of all, thank you, board members, Dr. Sweezy, and especially Dr. Murray for the support and this opportunity to grow professionally within nutrition services. We have an amazing team, and I am so proud to be part of them. They're a big family. We have all grown together, and whether we may have days that are crazy and they're up and down, the team they rally together and they support each other no matter what it is. If it's part of their normal day routine or not, they're there to support each other, and I am so proud to be part of that team. Today, I have, oh gosh, my team grew. All right. I have Monica, Adam, Maisha, Evelyn, Donna, Kim, Letty, Pat, and Mike. And those are part of our team, and they're just fabulous, and I couldn't do what I do without them. So thank you for the opportunity.
Next, I'd like to ask Stacy Boozy, come on up. We're also very pleased to recommend Mrs. Stacy Boozy as a new coordinator of assessment and data analysis. Mrs. Boozy earned her bachelor's and master's degree from UC Irvine, as well as a master's degree in special education from Sam Houston State University. Mrs. Boozy started her career in education in 2007 before joining Palm Springs Unified in 2018. During her career, she has served as a teacher, TOSA, special education coordinator, and interim coordinator of assessment and data analysis. Mrs. Boozy is knowledgeable about curriculum, standards, instruction, assessment, and data analysis. Mrs. Jessica Whiteman, our Director of Elementary Instruction, highly recommends Mrs. Boozy, stating, overall, Mrs. Boozy is committed to her profession and providing students with the best learning environment possible. We are confident that Mrs. Boozy will do an excellent job as a new coordinator of assessment and data analysis. Congratulations, Mrs. Boozy. Any comments you'd like to share with the board, superintendent? Anybody you'd like to recognize tonight?
I would just like to thank the members of the board, Dr. Sweezy, members of executive cabinet. I'd especially like to thank Dr. Kovac, who was there when I was first hired at Corsini, Dr. Jim Pfeffer, my mentor. I'd like to thank my family, especially my husband Jack and my son Nolan, and my friends and colleagues within the district and beyond. I'm very excited about this opportunity to support our amazing students, families, community members, and our staff on our assessment and data journey. Thank you so much.
All right, may I get a motion to approve the following employment agreements? First, employment agreement with Stacy Boozy, Coordinator of Assessment and Data Analysis, Salary Schedule 223, Column 4, Step 4, effective January 25th, 2023. And an employment agreement with Sarah Phelps, Director of Nutrition Services, Salary Schedule Range 39, Step 1, effective date January 25th, 2023. Motion?
I move.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That motion passes. Congratulations to the both of you. Now what everybody's been waiting for. Can I get a motion to approve the audit report for year ending June 30th, 2022?
Move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
Dr. Murray?
Great. Thanks, President Girardi. It's my pleasure tonight to welcome Jonathan Clement. He's with the auditing firm of Eide Bailey. He's our district's independent auditor, and he is here to give a brief report on the 21-22 financial audit for the district. So, Mr. Clement, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Murray. President Girardi, Superintendent Dr. Swizy, Governing Board, Executive Committee, great to be here, and thank you for that. I always enjoy the drive out to Palm Springs, and it's always a pleasure to present an audit report. So with that, I'll be brief, and then we can jump into any questions and continue on the meeting from there. So the overall process, it's not just, I know there's 100+ pages in this report, but there's a lot that goes into it, and it comes down to phases of the audit. And so we, the audit engagement team, work with the district, Dr. Murray and his team to make it through the entire audit process. And thanks to COVID, or the past few years, we've been a little bit more remote, and it's been a more ongoing process as opposed to just 2 set times during the year or 3 times, depending on that. The initial phase starts with what we call our interim audit, so the internal controls, assessing the risks of the audit, where those risks are, and focusing our testing from there, along with state compliance, and if we can get to federal compliance. And as the year progresses, as we get close to the year end, June 30th, we then can jump into the other areas that we focus on, such as the federal compliance, and also wrap up state compliance, because we now have a full year and testing all the balances, which are presented in this audit. So along with all the numbers, there's lots of changes that happen, and I don't know if a few things come to mind. The previous years, we call them GASBs, Governmental Accounting Standards Board. They make changes, and it seems to be every year there's something new, and next year there's something new as well. So last year was fiduciary ASBs got brought onto the financials. This year, leases was the big hot topic, and that was implemented and documented within the audit. So there was a change there if you're comparing reports. And then we have, I will jump to, and if you happen to have the report in front of you, beautiful. So what I like to do is recommend starting with this. If this is your first time looking at an audit report, jump to page 102, and that's where we call our summary of auditor's results. And what this is a snapshot of how the audit went. And it's a great place to start, and then you can peruse as you see fit and read this amazing 110-page document that we love to talk about. So as you can see, it's broken down into 3 areas. We have the financial statements as a whole, and federal awards, and state compliance. So these are the areas we are opining on. And so the first one is the financial statements. We issued an unmodified opinion, which is great. There were no comments, no adjustments to the opinion, and the best opinion we can give, which is great news. No material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies. And then we move on to federal awards, and very similar, which is great news, unmodified as well. And we document the programs we tested, and this year it was special ed. Of course, the COVID funds, because they are deemed high risk, so we have to look at those. And then also Head Start, because we are required to meet a certain percentage threshold. And lastly, we have our state compliance. And this is what the state requires us to. They put out an audit guide, and we then test over these areas. And it is either yes or no, you met compliance. All compliance was unmodified, with exception of one program, which was the classroom teacher salaries. And all this program or this area talks about is that a percentage was not met, and we just documented that within the next few pages of the report. So if you continue on to page, you can see 103, for financial statements findings, there were none, which is great. Also page 104, same for federal compliance. And then we go into detail about the classroom teacher salaries. And because of the significant influx of the COVID dollars, that changed and modified the percentages that were required to be met. And this is a very common issue we've been seeing across California as we audit many districts, and it is because of the influx of those COVID funds that it's hard to meet that percentage. And so, but there is a corrective action in place, and the district is doing everything to meet that, and we are expecting that it in future years or to next year to not be an issue, and compliance will be met. So with that, I would like to add a whole audit would not be done if it wasn't for the success of the Business Services Department and their team in coordinating that. So we always appreciate them and the services they do to help us finish our job, and we're greatly appreciated for that. So, and that concludes my brief run through of the audit. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Anjali? No. Charlie? No? Okay. I don't think we have any questions tonight.
Okay. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much
Jonathan.
for your time, and Happy New Year.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Congratulations to our Business Services Department. Item 15C, approval of the 2022 School Accountability Report Card. Has to do with OE10. May we get a motion to approve, please?
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve. How about a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That
Aye.
motion passes. Item 15D, approval of proclamation of National School Counseling Week for February 6th through 10th. And I believe our student board member, Anjali, is going to read this proclamation for us.
Whereas schools counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development, and whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further their educational, personal, and social growth of their children, and whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves, and whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become more productive members of society, and whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational progress that enables all students to achieve success in school. Now therefore be it resolved that on January 24th, 2023, the Governing Board of Palm Springs Unified School District proclaims that the week February 6th through 10th, 2023 as National School Counseling Week and encourages all educational communities to commemorate this occasion with appropriate instructional activities.
Thank you very much, Anjali. Very well done. Can I get a motion to approve item 15D, please?
Move.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. 15E, approval of new high school course descriptions for the 2022-23 school year, OE10. May I get a motion to approve item 15E?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion or questions?
I just wonder, will these courses be offered at every high school or just selected high schools?
These courses will be offered at Desert Learning Academy, and they will be offered through the Edgenuity platform, which really provides the students with the opportunities for different additional electives through CTE as well. So they're submitted for Desert Learning Academy.
Can any other student in the district take them, or do they?
We'll look into that, because if they're successful here, then we have students who may want to take those courses through Edgenuity, that they would have the opportunity as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you. 15F, approval of authorized signatures, OE6. May we get a motion to approve 15F, please?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 15G, approval to amend contract number C000438 with EduPoint Educational Systems LLC, OE 11.3. May we get a motion to approve?
Move.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
A second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. 15H, approval of change order number 4 with PowerFlex Systems, Inc. for the design and construction of battery storage units at the District Administrative Center, Cathedral City, Desert Hot Springs, Palm Springs, and Rancho Mirage High Schools. Agreement number C0004206, OE 12.7. May we get a motion to approve this item?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
And a second. Any questions? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. 15I, adoption of resolution number 2022/2023-26, approval of contract CSPP 2373 with the California Department of Education for participation in the Child Development Division State Preschool Program, OE 10.8. How about a motion for item 15I?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. 15J, approval of readmission of expulsion case 2021/2022-043 to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE 11. How about a motion, please?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. Somebody want to second that?
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Item 16 is the superintendent's consent item, where we will vote on items 16A through 16D in one motion, unless somebody would like an item pulled. Okay, can we get a motion to approve item 16, please?
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve. How about a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thanks. Item 17 is board consent item. 17A is approval of meeting minutes for December 13th, 2022. May we get a motion to approve that?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 18 is informational items. 18A is submission of early Head Start and Head Start reports per requirements for the Head Start Act for November 2022, OE 10.1. Item 18B is the William Case Report of Complaints, OE 4.12, OE 10.10, and OE 12. And item 18B is revisions to Administrative Regulation AR 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities. The board has received this and reviewed this information. Item 19 are suggestions for future agendas. Does anybody have any suggestions?
I just
Seeing
have,
none?
President Girardi, I just have two questions. In the recognition for Bridget Foster, the Walter Clark presentation, Bridget said how lucky she was to receive materials from another teacher, and maybe for future help in answering a question I have is, do our STEAM teachers have financial support and access to materials? We've been to some of the classrooms, and I was wondering if maybe we could be updated about that. She said that in the broadcast on KESQ. So I was wondering about that. And then in the presentation from the Rotary, one of the members asked, do the schools have food pantries? And how are students given access to food, maybe for the weekend or during the day if they're hungry? And I did address that through some of the food drives, the late breakfast options, the number of meals that are served. But the question really was, do we have food pantries available for students maybe through the weekend? And I didn't know the answer to that. So I don't know if you want to send that to us or...
I don't want to speak for any of these guys, but I know in Desert Hot Springs, Food Now has a backpack program for weekend food needs, and they give out about 145, 150 of those. But maybe you guys can expand on that.
Yeah. You can send us information. Thank you. That's all for me.
Okay, item 20 is the setting of the next board meeting. Our next regular board meeting will be on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Item 21 is a debrief. Anything you guys want to debrief on or share? Or?
I just want to say to Mr. Rub, when you were talking about the Palm Springs Film Festival, how you said our campus was really beautiful. I will say that every time I come to my school, I do like to look at the view. It is beautiful. I'm like, wow, no way I go to school here. And you see the mountains and the architecture, and I honestly think it's beautiful. And yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to the board and everyone who made it possible for the students to be able to go on the board. California Board Meeting Association, the whole entire trip was amazing and we learned a lot. It was a very eye-opening opportunity, and I just want to say thank you guys so much. Not only was it fun, but we learned a lot about what you guys do and just a whole newfound respect of what you guys do to keep our entire school system up and going. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Mariah. I think I could speak on the whole board. We were honored that you could join us. Thank you. All right, can we get a motion to adjourn, please?
Move for adjournment.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. We are adjourned.